Hey, welcome back to Raw Courageous, everybody. I'm Bobby Wood, and I just climbed a hill behind me with a 50-pound sack of corn on my back. The sun's going to go down here in about an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm going to go make a stop or two out in the timber someplace, right close to the cameras, and see what comes in. Before we get into some of the preseason stuff, though, one of the things that I've found to be very helpful when I'm changing out discs on cameras and things like that is to place the new SD card up on top of the camera and leave the camera open as I pull out the one that had been in it. This is a reminder to me before I walk away to close up the camera and make sure that it's operational and get that disc in and get it reset. Great tip. It's been very helpful for me, and hopefully it'll be of some use and of some benefit and some help to you. Now, as you can see, I've got the camera set up right here and the disc is still up on top. Now, I've deposited some corn down here, and I want to show you exactly how I've done this. I've kind of scattered this. It's not piled up. A lot of people will tell you to pile it up. A lot of people will tell you to scatter it out quite a bit. I have it up underneath logs right over here too, and it's scattered out because what it will do is it will give the deer and the wildlife here an opportunity to move around and still kind of pick and choose what they're wanting to eat at. But the other thing that I'm doing too is there's a lot of undergrowth right in here. And the really neat thing about spreading out a feed supplement of some kind, corn or something else, is that as the deer are eating the corn and picking at it, they're also eating the underbrush, which makes for great deer hunting placement of tree stands and things like that when you've got an open area that you can shoot into and not have to worry about things deflecting shots. Something else that I do too in the preseason whenever I'm doing this is I wear clothes that I know I'm going to sweat in. You may have heard the story or the scientific experiment of Pavlov's dog. Well, folks, that's a real deal. When you associate a couple of different stimuli together, eventually one becomes a stimulus for one of the others. So one of the things that deer hunters who've hunted any length of time at all know is that beating the deer's sense of smell is... I just had a bird land nearby. I wasn't really sure what it was. I saw the tree limb move. But, excuse me. When you associate a couple of different stimuli together, eventually one becomes a signal for the other one. Pavlov's dog story, you'll recall that the bell and the dog food became somewhat synonymous in terms of what came next. This is no different. One of the things that deer hunters really worry about is a deer's sense of smell and being able to beat it. And human scent is one of those things that can trip them off. Well, if I supplement periodically in the preseason and I'm out, I'm sweating, I'm brushing up against things, the deer begin to assimilate my human scent with feed. Now, it's no different with chickens, with pigs, with horses, with whatever. If they see or smell someone who they know is going to feed them, then they begin to pair those things up. Now, I'm not saying that during the deer season I'm not concerned about smell. I will certainly try to eliminate my odor, my human body odor, as much as I possibly can. But if there are traces, then it's not going to disturb the animals as much as it would otherwise, because I've been providing them corn or other supplements along the way, and they get it. In fact, I'll even go so far as to say this because I've had this happen. Sometimes in the past, whenever I've come out to a tree stand and it's been still pretty early in the season, still warm, October, something like that, get a hot day, and I get sweaty up in the stand, I've actually had deer come immediately in and they're looking for feed. So something to remember. Certainly been a tip for me. Now let's get this card in here and get going. Hit the power button there. What I'm looking for right now is making sure that that infrared sensor that you see blinking right there is picking up motion. That's very important, because if it's not, then this thing won't take camera shots. Check out this trail right here, folks. If that's not an obvious trail, I don't know what one is. That right up the center here, right there, is a beaten down highway. and I love it. One of the things that I watch for are the development of trails like that between stand locations that I have. Now this right here is a new spot that I'm depositing corn. And I want to show you some before and after video of what this place looks like after it's been hit by these deer. This is before. Like I said, this is the first time I've deposited corn right here. It's a brand new spot, and you can see that the corn it's on the surface, it's visible, but it's also buried up in the leaves a little bit from the undergrowth. My hope is that when I come back and take some additional video here, that you'll be able to see just how much this has been gone through. So, as we say back home, more news at 10 on that. All right, so I've moved through the timber a little bit, and I'm still trying to beat the sun going down in darkness. The camera seems to be a little brighter than what I'm actually seeing, but I'm still moving through the timber, making a couple of stops along the way, and just watching for any sign or listening for things that could be happening in the leaves or in the brush around me. Great idea. It's a fantastic idea, actually, to spend time in the woods at all different times of the day. One of the things that I do, my dad and I studied patterns, lunar patterns, for the better part of 3.5 decades. And on one of these upcoming videos, I'll tell you a little bit about that and why that's such a crucial thing for us. A lot of people think that the best time to shoot deer is early in the morning or late in the evening. That's not always necessarily the case. Lunar patterns and weather patterns certainly have an effect on that, and we'll talk more about that as the days come. So I kind of need to tell on myself. I have a tendency whenever I'm walking through the woods to accidentally hook little twigs and sticks that are on the ground. I just did it again. And every time I do, especially when it's starting to get dusky like this, or even in the middle of the dark, I get really, really freaked whenever that stick jumps up and hits me in the calf or hits me in the shin, because I'm watching what's in front of me. You know, you've already gotten an idea on how I feel about snakes. And whenever I get bumped in the calf or bumped in the shin like that, I really, really get excited. In fact, I carry protection on me just in case something is out in front of me and I need to take care of the problem or take care of the situation. For my own personal safety. It's another one of those little tips that I have that I have come to use over the years, and I hate snakes. I hate them. Well, it's getting darker by the minute, as you can tell. The granularity is starting to pop into the video, and it won't be too long before I've got to shut this thing down for the day. But you know, hating snakes, maybe hate is kind of a strong word. I really, really dislike them, especially when they've got a 2.5 foot reach and I'm within 2 feet. You know, it bothers me. I've come too close to stepping on too many of them. And I just think, you know, generally, the best snake is a dead snake. All right, everybody, it's getting really, really dark from what you can tell. I'm pretty close to the house, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a wrap. Wanted to let you know that I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate the likes and the subscribes to these videos. There's more content coming. Please drop a like, drop a subscribe if you haven't already. Send us a comment, send us a note, tell us how you feel. Tell us if you've got any questions or things like that we might be able to help answer. And we'll see you next time on Raw to Rageous. Alright, so cool story. I think I left my reading glasses at work. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to go hunt in my car for them, but, you know, these are my wife's. I'm getting ready to look at the pictures on the computer here to see what we've got, and I guess this will just have to do for now. I kind of think she likes it. That's why I really do it. Not really. At any rate, thank you for tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you again on Raw to Rageous, where we are going to transform this property to exactly that, from raw to Rageous. And we look forward to seeing you on the journey. We'll see you next time.